This week for the Iowa football team hasn't just been about their 6-0 start, it's about how they got there. We jump right into it this pregame show where Jordan Maloney and Alec Giannakopoulos give us the rundown of who we'll be seeing on the field on Saturday and who we won't be seeing.
As the Hawkeyes look to keep their perfect record intact coming up this Saturday against Northwestern, it appears that things are going to get even harder.
That's right, Alec, and not only is this weekend's game going to be a clash between two nationally ranked Big Ten teams, but Iowa's going to have to do it without 6 of their players who have contributed to their 6-0 season.
In addition to Tavon Smith, Boone Myers, LaShawn Daniels Jr., and Jake Doozy, who were all questionable going into last week's matchup against the Illini, the win wasn't all smiles for the undefeated Hawkeyes.
Offensive lineman Ike Bucker and defensive lineman Drew Ott will find themselves watching from the sidelines this weekend as both suffered injuries in the third quarter of Iowa's matchup with Illinois.
Yeah, and the growing injury reserve is certainly a challenge for the Hawkeyes, but nothing they can't handle.
The worst part about coaching in football is just dealing with injuries.
And their replacements are ready to compete. You'll see Jeremy Smith on the field once again for wide receiver Tavon Smith, who is hopeful to return after next week's bye week. And filling the spot of Boone Myers will be Cole Croston. Stepping up in the tight end position of Jake Doozy will be Henry Krager-Coble and George Kittle, and filling the gap left by defensive lineman Drew Ott will be Parker Hesse.
Just the next man in mentality. If somebody goes down, somebody else is eager to get back in and compete.
Ikram Wadley and Derek Mitchell Jr. will fill in while LaShawn Daniels Jr. is still out. LaShawn's younger brother, James Daniels, a true freshman, will be stepping in for Ike Bucker against the Wildcats.
We're a very resilient team. We face a lot of adversity, but so far in the season we've been able to overcome it.
Before the Hawkeyes can get back on their feet with a bye week, they have a physical contest in Evanston.
That's right, and that's all we have for this week's injury report. Outside Kinnick Stadium, I'm Jordan Maloney.
And I'm Alec Giannakopoulos.
Thanks, Jordan and Alec. The common phrase, injury is a part of the game, is something we have heard from head coach Kirk Ferentz almost every week. And Taylor Brooks has more on the backup who's humble and experienced.
The injury adversity that Iowa football has had to go through this season hasn't been easy, and people know that.
We definitely notice it. Sometimes it's hard to overcome, but we're a very resilient team. We face a lot of adversity, but so far in the season we've been able to overcome it.
And each and every week, Iowa has had someone step into a role that they might not have much experience in, especially on the field. But luckily for redshirt freshman Parker Hesse, he's seen more time on the field than some.
You learn from every opportunity, be it practice or game competition, but getting out there and actually playing. And in this case, we're lucky in some ways that Parker has played as much as he has, so he won't be overwhelmed by that part of it. But still got a big challenge this Saturday, and he'll have more of them ahead of him.
Hesse moved from linebacker to defensive end late in the 2014 season, but for both Kirk and himself, it was a good move.
I'm glad we made the move back in December, and I think every snap's certainly important. But he's coming along doing a good job.
The Iowa native has 7 solo tackles on the year and 8 assisted tackles, making his tackle column up to 15. But Hesse is filling a void that not only comes from on the field.
When you lose a guy like Drew, he's not only an excellent player, but also a very strong leader for us. So it's a big void.
Everyone on the field has a job to do, and you have to do your 1/11th. So, obviously, Drew's a tremendous player, and he goes above and beyond his 1/11th very often. But my job is just to play my role, just to be that 1 out of 11 guys on the field.
Drew Ott's injury may be one of the most heartbreaking seasons cut short, but this Iowa defense is moving forward with poise.
Our defense, we have great leaders at each position group, and we're really focused on getting the job done. That's just a testament to the leadership we have and the players we have, that we're focused on getting it done no matter who's in there, no matter what the situation is.
This has been Taylor Brooks for Daily Iowan TV Sports.
When Iowa travels to Evanston on Saturday against Northwestern, the injuries are going to have to be set aside because Northwestern has a team that no one can look past, especially with a defense like theirs. And more specifically, I looked at their backfield. Northwestern fell 7 spots in the Associated Press poll after their loss to Michigan last week, while Iowa climbed 5 spots and clinched a 6-0 record after their defeat over Illinois. That leaves the matchup this week, number 20 Northwestern versus number 17 Iowa. Northwestern's defensive backfield is ranked 7th in the country, only allowing 138.2 passing yards. This stellar group claims the name the Sky Team, consisting of Trevion Henry, Nick Van Hoos, Godwin Igwe-Buke, Matthew Harris, Kyle Cairo, and Keith Watkins. Northwestern's rush offense will serve as a great matchup for Iowa's rush defense. The Wildcats average 260.8 rushing yards this season, but Iowa's defense hasn't allowed any team over 100 rushing yards. As football is obviously in full swing, college hoops are right around the corner. Daily Iowan TV sports reporter Taylor Brooks was in Chicago, Illinois earlier today.
Thanks, Laura. The hype the Big Ten Conference is getting for both men's and women's basketball was very apparent here at Media Day, especially with Maryland's men's and women's team grabbing that #1 preseason poll spot in the Big Ten. There will be a lot of familiar faces we see come November from various teams, but there's a handful of rookies that will not only be getting their first taste of college basketball, but the competitive Big Ten. Stick with Daily Iowan TV Sports as we talk rule changes next week and how Iowa women's basketball is trying to fill 3 voids in their starting lineup. Reporting in Chicago, Illinois, Taylor Brooks, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
That does it for the sports team. We'll see you all on game day in Evanston.